Okay, I'm going to show you guys today how to make the fabric face mask with different kind of ties on it. Just another option that is a little faster to make the mask, but takes a little more skill. So we're going to start off with our two pieces of fabric. We have the inner that's just a little bit shorter, about an inch shorter than the outer. And we're going to put those right side together. And I'm flipping this over to this side because it's lighter and I can see my marks. I'm going to measure 1.5 inches from each end and put a little mark here. And then I'm going to sew from the edge to the mark, skip the middle edge from the mark to the edge so that there's an opening for the pocket in the middle. And all the seams are 1/4 inch seams. No, I can't talk because Tammy's over there. Anyway. Alrighty. And I had this little fabric scrap thing to run off the edge, but I lost it, so we'll have to do this the old-fashioned way. Okay, and now this part I'm going to go ahead and iron with the iron. I find it's easier than finger pressing it. It takes less time to just go ahead and do the iron. And especially since I have my iron right here next to me. And I'm just pressing that seam open that I just ironed. I just sewed. My goodness. It's okay if the middle part gets a little more than 1/4 inch. Okay. And then I'm going to top stitch the inside part, which is this shorter part. And on this, it's the purple part, which is this top stitch across there. So we have two different colors of fabric because it makes it easier for the wearer to know which side is right and wrong quickly. And it's also easier for us to sew because we know which side's right and wrong. Front and back, rather. Inside, outside. And so now we're going to make the pleats. It's much faster at this last time. Okay, so this is my pleating jig. I have instructions linked in the box below the video that show you how to make this jig. And you put the fabric in print side up towards the arrow direction, and then you put this flap down and smooth this up. Flap. So it's a great way to make the pleats even every time. And now I'm just going to stitch those down about 1/4 inch, 1/8 of an inch rather, from the edge, just so that they are tacked down and not going anywhere. I find it's easier to just go ahead and trim up the tails of the threads rather than doing them all at the end while it's in my hand. Okay, now we do the inside piece. It doesn't really matter which piece you do first, the inside or the outside. Same exact process to pleat these. Okay, and then we're going to tack those down again. About an 1/8 inch seam because we're going to make 1/4 inch seams later. Okay, and pull out our jig. And then we're going to sew the top and the bottom of this together. And you may be wondering why I'm making the pleats separate rather than going ahead and sewing it together and making the pleats through both layers. And that's because it is a lot easier to open the pocket and put something in it to add additional filters. When you make the pleats together, then they want to stick together when you're trying to open the pocket. So at the end, I'll show you what it looks like and how much easier it is to get into this pocket. And it also makes it a lot less bulkier on the edges of the mask. I'm just going to go ahead and iron that seam like flat anyhow, and then turn this right side out. And with my fingers, going to get this bottom seam to be in the right place the best I can. If you pressed open that seam before you, that would make this easier on the bottom here, but I don't have anything that small to put in it, and I haven't dug something up yet. Okay, and then on the back side here, the front fabric, or the outer fabric, rolls to the back for about 1/2 inch to make our casing and pocket opening. So I'm just going to give that a quick press here first, and then go ahead and press the rest of it just to make everything nice and neat. So what now I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch the casing closed, leaving an opening to insert the wire. So I'm going to start where this opening is right here at the edge here. I'm going to go forward, back, and then forward again, almost to the edge, and then turn and go across here. And I want to stop about 3/4 of an inch before the opening ends. That's about it. And I'm going to go ahead and back stitch here, come back forward, and then I'm going to skip across and go to where that opening closes, stops, and put my needle down and go up to down, up to finish off the casing. So you could go ahead and put a wire in there and close it up if you want to, but leaving it open like that allows the wire to go in and out for washing, or if a person prefers to wear or not wear a wire, and also can change out the wire if it breaks or they like a different kind. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just trim up these edges just to get them nice and even so I can put the binding on easier. And these aren't the best scissors for this, but I'm going to check both sides, make sure it's nice and straight. You could even, if you were making a bunch of these at one time, take it and rotary cut it. Okay. And now we're going to put the binding on. And this is the tricky part that needs a little bit of practice, but if you get it down, it's the fastest. This is the fastest way. So I'm finding the middle, and then I'm going to put that middle at the top so that the tie is longer on the top than the bottom. And right here I'm folding, hopefully you guys can see this, folding the edges into the center. Probably should have had a lighter fabric. It's hard to do in the middle. My goodness. And then we're going to take that and wrap it around the top right here. And it's okay if it's not perfect. We're just trying to get it there. And if you have a binder clip, this is, or those other clips, this would be a good time to use it instead of a pin. But that's my only pin. I can't find one right now, so I'm using the pin. Okay, now I'm going to go all the way to the end of this tie and fold the edges to the middle. It's much easier to do at the end. and then fold it in half. And I'm going to get this underneath my foot and sew for just a little bit. Go ahead and back stitch. Well, you'll be able to see my stitches. Okay, and now I'm pulling this out long. Can you get back to my hand? And then folding this over way back here. And with the tension on this, it's pretty easy to get a whole line of this ready to sew. Just got to get your finger in there. And I sew down close to this open edge here. Now you can go ahead and put this through a bias tape maker, but it's not really that much faster. But at first you might want to. Because it does take a little fiddling. You could also start with a little wider fabric for your band than this to start off with, because it will be easier. And please make sure that you have your the front of your mask up. And when you're going around your mask, make sure you're getting it on the front and the back evenly. Getting the edge of that mask in there. Because this mask is so thin on the edge, it's pretty easy to get it bound and catch everything. And you can kind of feel, once you get a feel for how thick it feels, if it comes unfolded or something on the back, or you're not catching all layers, you can feel it pretty well. Can't do it that way. So you really don't need anything but fabric and a sewing machine, needle and thread to make a mask, and make a really nice mask, which is a little patience and practice. Okay, then we're going to do the other side. Let's see how well I did there. Look at that, I caught the whole thing. My sewing machine messed up my stitches there a little bit, but right here you can see my tacking stitch from before, so I didn't quite get it over there close enough. I did pretty good. It is a little easier if it's, for sure, it's a lot easier if you have this edges already ironed in with a bias tape maker. But I just wanted to show you it could be done this way. So I found the middle of it again, and I'm attaching it to the top. I think that bias tape on that side was cut a little narrow too. This one seems bigger. Okay. We're going to have all kinds of background noise in this video, aren't we? We might have to refilm on another day when it's quieter. Okay. Go ahead and back stitch. Okay. This one's easier than the last one I did. I think the strip I was using on the other side got cut a little narrow. If you can do this with the 1-inch wide strips, it's a little more finicky because they're smaller, but it makes for a really nice finish, a lot less bulky in the ties and around the side of the face, so the mask lays nicer on the side of your face. And if you have a faster way to do this binding, when I'm just, not using any kind of special equipment. I saw somebody use a piece of paper to do it, and I couldn't get it to work with this narrow binding. She was making 1/2 inch rather than 1/4 inch, because this is 1/4 inch finished, and I couldn't get it to slide through, so. But I love learning how to make my sewing faster, so if you have any tips, I'd love to hear them. And the mask is done. Okay, I can clean that up later. So, has very lightweight edges. There's not a lot of bulk here. It's very nice. Feels very good against your face. You can put a wire in here. A wire for an example. You can just slide it in that little pocket there. It's really easy to get in and out. And then, oops. Usually it's easier to get out than that. Pop it back out, so it's not a fight to take it out to get it washed. And then this pocket opening just opens really super easy to get extra filter in there. So there you have it, the second way to sew up this mask pattern. There is one other way to put on these side binding strips, and I'll probably do another video another day on that other method. It's takes just a little bit longer, but is a little more foolproof on making sure you get all of this caught in it, like I almost missed here, and so it eliminates that. Well, hope you enjoy it. Thank you.